Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Yellow Belly Tabletop live stream. Nice to see you, Darren. I think we're going to be like Tim tonight. He's obviously popped in to comment, then popped out again. But yeah, good to see you, Darren. Well, what a week. We had a good weekend last weekend, didn't we, mate? Bit of Arkham gaming on Saturday. It was a bit awesome. We'll tell you all about that later. So for those of you who haven't been here before, welcome to our live stream. Over the next couple of hours, we are going to be doing a little bit of hobby ourselves, talking nonsense, and hopefully you can find it entertaining and do some hobby along with us. For those of you who are watching along, if you'd like to stick what you're working on in the comments section, in the chat if you're live, and if you're watching us later on YouTube in the comments section, that'd be great, because we always like to see what we're inspiring people to get on and do. What we're going to do first is David and I'll give you a quick rundown of what we're going to be tackling tonight. Then we will chat about what we got up to at Gaming Club the week just gone. And we'll tell you about the game we had on Saturday night as well, because we got a bit of a double dose of gaming in, which was quite cool.
We did get a double dose in, and it was very good.
Then we'll chat crap, talk about a bit of news, chew the fat a bit. Then about 9 o'clock, we're going to tackle our main topic, which is a bit of a weird, off-the-wall one tonight.
Yeah.
You don't hear it talked about. I don't see it talked about much online, but it was triggered a bit by what happened, our experiences on Saturday night, wasn't it, mate?
Yes.
And we have touched upon it before when we were talking about other things.
Yeah, it's been like you say, we've mentioned it in passing one or two times. It's time it gets to see the light of day as a topic.
But it's a specific thing like this. I've struggled. I'll be honest. I struggled to come up with the thumbnail and the title of the video.
I think you did a pretty good fucking job.
Yeah, but it's how to put it into words, though, innit? You and I know what we mean. This idea that both from a hobby and a game design point of view, you don't have any focus on what you're trying to achieve, and it leads to weird decisions,
combos, synergies, and all the other shit.
Both in terms of hobbyists making weird decisions on what to buy and how to do things, and companies just making completely fucking weird decisions on how to design games. But we'll get into it later. Right, mate. If it's all right with you, I shall go first.
You go first.
Hello.
Sir, I'm
Oh my God. Hello, Ben. We are privileged.
Ben has arrived.
All praise the Ben. Not talking about Lord of the Rings tonight, Ben. Sadly, do apologise for that.
We'll have to get you as a guest feature at some other point soon.
Although, that's a thing. I didn't. Here's the thing, Ben. Did you realise that there are narrative campaigns for Burrows and Badgers? 2 of them, and they're only £10 for the PDF, and they look amazing. Because I didn't realise that till the other week. Being a bit of a Burrows and Badgers fan, I might be getting into that. So Darren's working on.
Been living under
Frostgrave, Ghost of Ark. Hello, Cheese Me, stroke Limburger. That's not an instruction, that's Limburger's alternate identity. Oh, it's Ben boyfriend, not Ben.
Cheese Me, in answer to your question, it's the same as it has been every other fucking week, which is no progress whatsoever. Now we've got that out of the way, boys and girls, let's carry on with the rest of the stream tonight.
Although, talking about Assassin's Creed, I did play my 3rd mission of Assassin's Creed on one day. Was it Sunday morning?
Must have been Sunday morning or Monday, mate.
Or Monday. Might have been Monday. So I did get it filmed. So I'm currently in the video editing stage, which is the bit I hate. So I will be hopefully uploading episode 3 of my is that
Let's Play.
It's Crispin. Has Crispin changed his identity? That's Crispin going by the. Oh my god! Well done, Crispin. So yeah, I will be getting my third Assassin's Creed video up sometime soon. I just got to finish doing the editing, as I said before, and the that's fucking funny. Well done, Crispin. Although because it's spelt wrong, I don't know if you realise that, but now you've obviously created the identity. I imagine you've got no way of editing that, and that's going to be really irritating. But hey ho, that's
You
really
can't help
funny.
it.
So anyway, what were you working on tonight? Well, before I tell you what I'm working on tonight, I will tell you I am going to be trying out these cheap brushes from the works. I do like a good cheap workhorse brush. I don't think I'm going to be able to show that off and get it. Actually, can we do that? Just about. So
Get
these
it,
are.
get it on the old 360, boy.
I can't. There's something already there. So these are just cheap synthetic sets, but they're some of the larger brushes, and I don't have many large
Workhorses.
Workhorse brushes. I tell everything. I've somehow got myself into a corner where the biggest brush is like a size 1, and it's frustrating as fuck.
Sorry, what was that? Are you taking a leaf out of my book?
I know, it's freaking ridiculous. So now we've got some big old brushes here, and actually they're perfect for the job we have tonight, because tonight I will mostly be painting more vampires. So I'm going to be plodding on with my Strigoi crew for Carnivale. So the bold, I can't even read the name. The ones that are made in Ireland, Boldmere, 4 brushes for £2.50, and the Crawford and Black set, which are the 5-pack made in China, were £1 for 5. So cheap.
Prices not to be sniffed at.
Oh, that's good, Darren. Demon Sub says these blue ones from the works aren't too bad. I'll be honest, mate, they look crisp as hell in there. And I think, what have I got in here? I've got a 1, 3, 5 and a 6. So
I've got some Boldmeres somewhere.
I'll have to see if they're I'll let you know if I think they're the same, if they're any good.
Yes, I'm a little bit of a snob. I've got a bit more of a expensive workhorse brush, but it's a Pro Art Proline. In various sizes.
Captain Tryhard has to fucking outclass everybody.
No, I'm just saying, for those that might be interested, you bellend.
I'm going to try. So basically, what in the Strigoi Warband, I've got these 3 of the models are these sort of vampire types that have no clothes on. They're essentially completely naked monsters. And there's 3 of them. There's 2 female ones, one standing with her arms spread with wings, one hanging off a lamp, like a lamppost that's sinking into the sort of canals of Venice, and then this guy with his arms spread. And I'm basically going to try and blitz through all 3 together, because I intend to basically just paint them all the same skin tone recipe. So we're just going to slap some paint down on them, hence the big brushes. So that's what I'm going to be cracking on with, boy. What have you got planned for tonight?
Hang on, let me dry the brush so I'm ready to chat shit.
Apparently the big ones make good dry brushes when the point goes. To be fair, dry brushes I do have a good selection of, because I use the makeup brushes. I bought a crap.
Would you like to
I will do so. Here's David's. Here's David. So still working on this Necromunda gang, mate. I see you went with the orange. No, they don't have the shall we say the delicate areas. Limburger are very tastefully modelled. There are no nipples.
The gender, no gender.
Everything's sort of smooth and non-specific.
It's like Barbie and Action Man.
Yes, the same idea.
So yeah, we're washing orange at the moment. Then I think I'm going to do the skin next.
So you're not going to go and you're not going to finish your orange completely, because that used to be your thing, didn't it? Where you'd finish a colour Literally.
Oh no, I'm doing the orange.
Okay.
But what I might be doing is just jumping around a bit while washes and bits dry and working on other areas and stuff.
So the flesh tones are going to be the next thing, you reckon?
Yeah, but I'm not quite sure on the flesh tone front what to do.
Well, you said you were going to do a mix when we asked you last week, didn't you? Correct me if I am wrong.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
Not quite sure because we
did also say about doing.
No, we did also say about doing them like pasty motherfuckers, like they've never seen the light of day.
That's right. The what? Because that gives you.
I haven't been able to find a nice tutorial for pasty as fuck skin.
Well, can't you just make it up?
No.
Oh my god! Why not? How long have you been painting now?
Have we also noticed how I'm painting these miniatures? Blue tacked to coffee stir supplied by McDonald's.
Oh my god! No, I hadn't even registered that. So what's all this then?
The reason being, I actually have things to show the boys and girls at home.
Oh no, I know why. Yeah, because you don't want to get paint on your bases.
I don't want to get paint anywhere near this.
You're still on screen, so everybody can see these beautiful bases of yours.
These absolute beautiful bases that have dirty down rust smothered all over them. They're not edged yet because I'm a hobby tryhard, and Paul will shout. Because I may have also 3D printed some name tags.
Oh my god! Fucking hell!
So
he's going out. That's it. He's going full bore on it. That kitchen sink. Boom.
Is that more legible for you now in your old eyes?
Yeah, to be fair, they do look a bit better with the contrast. I struggle to shrivel to nothing. Limburger. Oh, it's all gone. All gone pizza. Yeah, I struggled to bloody read them when you brought them to club.
Yeah.
But,
so I'm done with my camera set.
Okay, let's go back to the main scene.
What are you beverage drinking this evening?
Nothing. I've had enough coffee. I'll be bouncing off the bleeding walls. So I've got nada.
Not even got a beer?
No, we don't. Well, you know, for various reasons, we don't often have beer in the house. So
no, I just wondered.
Yeah, no beers. 9 and beers, and unfortunately.
Well, cheers, because you'll only complain at what I'm drinking.
Oh, what is it? Some sort of girly beer? Taste of fruit.
Brothers Marshmallow English Cider.
Nice tagging. Oh yeah, the Limburger saying to your nameplates, I believe, nice tagging.
Well, Limburger, interestingly, they were off the internet from a free website and free downloads. I will make sure that I provide Paul with a link, and then
ping it me on Messenger now. Otherwise, we'll forget.
No, we won't. No, we won't, because I've got the web page open on my laptop. So as soon as I finish on stream, I'll get it over to you.
Okay, buddy. Yeah, and then I'll stick that in the description probably tomorrow morning.
It's not the easiest thing to use, but the results are quite good. There's a load of different texts. You can add some iconography. You can change the sizes and the bases that it fits. So there's a fair few options.
Things that you can do.
Yeah.
Although it seems a bit unnecessary for such basic painting, I'm going to get my eyes on so that I can see what
you're actually painting.
Yeah.
Not daubing bloody skin tones over metallic areas.
I mean, even I was going to go for some. I mean, there are some areas of colour differentiation on them, like this. The big guy's got some exposed bone spurs on his spine, and the wings I want probably to do a different shade. But even though I'm painting everything this burnt red colour, again, because I've got my magnifiers on, it'll give me a chance to just take a good close look at the mini on the first pass and note for later.
And also check you've not missed anything.
Yeah, check areas where I might need to work on stuff or think about things. Although they do look pretty, it looks pretty standard, to be fair. It's all... The only decision to be really made is how we're going to... Whether we go with the wings. I mean, I had a quick look on TT Combat's website, and when they painted these guys up, they've done the wings are a very pinky colour.
They're like a purpley pink, aren't they?
Yeah, and I did think about. I liked the idea of the purple, because obviously I'm going for that very greyed out, depigmented skin tone. And I did wonder about like keeping that greyish look for the body, but then doing purple on the wings. But I don't really know how to do that, because I haven't got Drakenhof or what's the other one, Drucci.
You own some Drucci?
No, I haven't got that. Literally, I've only got 3 of the GW ones, the classic.
Seraphim, Null, Agrax.
That's it. Yeah, the 3 popular ones. To be fair, having used they're the one Games Workshop product that I would like to buy.
Well, more of the coloured wash options.
Yeah, because they are good products. To be fair.
Yeah, don't forget though. Now they've all changed all their formulations so that they're more like a wash, more like a contrast than a wash.
Mm-hmm. Did they change them all, even like the weirder ones?
Yes.
Oh.
They changed the lot. It wouldn't be GW to leave something alone, would it?
Okay, well that's good then.
That saved you some money.
Well, to be honest, I'm not going to go out and
Bollocks.
I'm not going to go out and deliberately. Hello, Dan. Good to see you, sir. See, Limburger to your rescue. Two Coats Duncan has a pale skin tutorial on the GW channel.
Yeah, I know, but it all uses fucking...
Well done, Crispin. That's much better.
The problem is, it's all fucking Citadel paints, and I'm not a fan of them.
Well, go for an equivalence chart and just go for the bloody Vallejo model colour equivalents.
Yeah, but...
I copied his... admittedly, it wasn't on the GW channel. It was on when he'd gone to his own painting academy. I copied his painting tutorial for those Kill Team...
the Krieg.
Yeah, Krieg, that's it. Thank you, sir. And there is a very good... I think I found it in some forum, probably Cool Mini or not, or something like that. A conversion chart with like all of the model colours, GW...
Does that
colour.
Have the actual references for how close they are?
Yes, and it has the hex codes and, tells you whether they're a good match, an exact match, or a close match. But as I say, using that guide, I'm really happy with the way my Krieg turned out. There was some really good... They came out very close to what old Dunk was doing. And not a single GW paint touched them.
There's slight issue in our wash orange with orange, and it should pull out the definition, Ginge.
Doesn't work.
No!
Okay.
The recesses are just a little darker. I'm going to have to go at it with probably some thin agrax in a bit.
So, have I missed something? Why is Crispin stalking Ben?
Because Crispin does shady shit on the internet.
Or stealing his identity. And I know that there's... What's the word? I know that there's beef there over being picked for golden buttons. I know that we've got a little bit of history, but I didn't realise things were escalating.
Is that just his trolling you because you're winning golden buttons?
Oh, I shouldn't think so. I'm hardly the most prolific or...
There's a few Citadel paints I really like. Moot Green and Baylor Brown. Vallejo have increased their time on my desk now, though.
Who's that?
Dan. Oh, I know what you would like. You would like Vallejo Game Colour Scorpy Green, then, Dan, if you're a fan of Moot Green. Look at me like some sort of fucking paint dealer.
What? FATBHKW. I'm 51 years of age, Crispin. How am I going to know what that string of nonsense means.
I'm 27 and I've still got no fucking clue. It's not just you, mate. Right, while I wait for some wash to dry, let's give these 3D prints a bit of a clean up, shall we?
I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying the Valeos, Dan. I'll be honest.
Well,
I'm a true convert. I really can't fault them.
I'm just gonna put my neck on the line here. I pretty much only recommend Vallejo, even to people that are just getting started. And I've not had anyone say a single bad thing about them other than possibly the colour representation through the bottle isn't the best and their naming convention is fucking dog shite.
Yes, that is very true.
But other than those two things...
I must confess, I do hope that obviously they've revamped game colour and moved them all to virtually transparent polyethylene bottles, I think it is. I do hope it is not long before they give the same love to the model colour range as well and move them to the same redesigned bottles because they've given them more robust tips. Because you've had issues with tips splitting.
I've had issues with tips blowing out.
So I know they have refined their bottle design. To be fair, not that there was a fuck ton wrong with it. I mean, it
wasn't terrible.
I've got hundreds of the damn things, and I've used them for years. And I have had I had one bottle that the spout literally disintegrated. That was my gunmetal grey, one of my metallics, and like you say, I've had a couple of ones where they've been blocked with dry paint and you go to squeeze them and the whole cap shoots off. But to be fair, I tend to... Now it's happened to me once. I'm just really ginger with
once
it.
Bitten,
and
twice shy.
Exactly. If I feel any sort of resistance, I've got a piece of brass wire. I just ram it down through the neck of the bottle just to dislodge any plugs of dried paint.
Yeah, Dan, the Pro Acryl Red... that I've got and yellow, golden yellow, are fucking amazing. The coverage on them is ridiculous out of the bottle. Like, painting red or yellow over black? No, you wouldn't usually do that. Pro Acryl just laughs at you in manic.
Have you seen anything about the new Pro Acryl paints from Vincey V and Ninjon, mate?
No.
I didn't. I wondered if that was your thing, if you were into that. I watched Ninjon's video.
I'm a try-hard painter.
Yeah, but
no,
I suppose even the Pro Acryls you already own, I bought you, didn't I? So.
Yeah. Crispin, no, none of us have tried Vallejo Express yet. I know one of the lads at our local gaming club's got a load on order, so...
Yes.
Jack, if you're watching this later, we might be borrowing some.
Yeah, it'd be good to actually have a go with them. I'll be honest, Crispin, I think it was Starley, Taylor Painters. I watched his video and I was a bit anxious. Oh, and the Australian guys, Tabletop Time, they pretty much said the same thing, which is they're very nice paints, but the coverage in one coat isn't really great in terms of intensity. And bearing in mind, I'm not buying them as technical paints. I'm buying them to stay on the tin, which is allow me to get stuff done ultra quick. If I'm buying a speed paint, if you like, for want of a better phrase, if I've got to do that 2 coats, then I'm like, I'm pretty much out at that point. It can be the best thing in the world, but if I've got to put that much work in, it's defeating the object of me buying it.
Yeah, the point of a speed paint is 1 coat consistent coverage for you.
I think they're out. Because, like I say, there's a chap at our club.
Element Games have got them in at the moment in the UK.
There's a chap at our club who's ordered a load. I don't know if Jack's taken delivery yet, but they're definitely out there in the wild to be ordered, mate. If you do get any, Crispin, you'll have to know how you get on. Have you used any of the other in a similar vein
Contrast.
products, Crispin. So like GW Contrast, Speed Paint. Are you already a dabbler? What's the situation there?
For me, I think they're going to be right up my street, because what do I currently do with my contrasts that I own? Tart and tinker and use them as filters and everything else. So.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, we've belaboured the point many times on the stream. I'm a huge fan of the Army Painter, the Speed Paint. And again, it's cropped up in my projects that I did recently. I think they're great.
Bit of a change for pace for you on this current project, though, isn't it?
Yeah. In fact, actually, I could show that off to the people at home. I haven't finished her base, but the miniature's essentially done. Let me just put her on there. So because I've done a couple of down and dirty speed paint projects recently, I thought I will get back into the swing of things and do a proper old school
painting job.
Yeah. A proper old school painting job. Let me see if I can.
That wash is still not dry. Bastard. Yeah, I'm gonna have to aggro that, I think. Oh, that's a shame. That is a real shame.
I still can't work out how to get manual focus rather, to work on this video.
Video.
Because even when I bring up the manual focus settings, I can't actually set the focus so it's in focus, which seems a little bit pointless.
Yeah. I'm listening.
So this was the miniature I finished last week. Darren Demon Sub says he's only started to use contrast last year. They have the uses, and yes, really useful in glazes. Yeah, that's a bit like David, mate. He sort of plays about with them and does all sort of technical stuff with them.
Yeah, I use them as a final wash to blend everything together. Because again, it just helps rather than glazing. It's allows it to darken my recesses down if I've gone a little bit high, etc. It's a bit. She's not bad, mate. She's not bad.
Yeah. They're just so bloody consistent. You know.
Oh fuck! I'm out of battery. Hang on, back in a sec.
They're just so reliable when you go to paint with them. You know, they cover well. They don't split.
They're not too thick. They're not too thin in the vast majority of cases.
You do, if you're a bit, you have to
benefit from additional thinning.
You got to be careful as well mixing colours, because some of them go very muddy when you're sort of blending. I find you need to be a little bit careful. But to be honest, they've got such a massive range of colours, you don't need to blend that much. Tell you what, I'm seeing tons of bloody mould lines and rubbish on these models still.
Not ideal.
Even after spending endless bloody hours.
I told you should have sent that box back, mate.
Fucking crap.
I told you.
Yes. You were definitely correct.
Called it.
I should have done. But
I get the pale sand, I get the dark sand. Not so sure on the buff there, Dan, but you do you, mate.
What's that?
Buff pale sand and his dark sand are his go-to paints.
Yeah, they're good. I'll be honest. I used buff was what I used pretty much for my Necron army. The sort of like
yeah, fucking Vietnam flashbacks for you with buff then.
the bone color. Using the buff as a top coat on that because it doesn't look very naturalistic. It's got a nice yellowish beige
Cute.
tone to it. It's a nice colour.
Come on, wash dry.
But that's the thing. They've got so many. The model colour range particularly has got so many of those naturalistic shades in it. There's just something for everything. Iraqi sand is a beautiful colour.
Iraqi sand is amazing. Oh, I've realised I've had a bit of an accident when I was spraying white ink everywhere the other night.
Okay, you literally were spraying it everywhere. Is that the nature of the accident?
Yeah, it's all over several things on my desk. This is what happens when you don't have a very big desk to work at.
Is one of those things the bases?
No. Bottle of airbrush thinner is absolutely covered in it. Bottle of flow improver has a nice white streak up the side of it.
Nice.
I did my athematic blue. Yep, that's now completely covered. My non-oil's got spray on it everywhere. Ah, dear.
Your ship keeps getting. Oh my god. Yeah, I can. How can you even fit it in your bleeding workshop stroke house? Jesus
no, his
Christ.
workshop / house is the ship. Did you not realise this?
It's insane. Are you? Stupid question. You're not actually planning to take it into space, are you? Because it is getting to the point where you might want to consider that. Can you get sponsorship from Virgin Space or something?
Yeah, but look at Virgin Orbit and their UK launch. It didn't exactly go well. I don't think Crispin wants to strap it to the underside and not make it to space if that's what his plans are.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the rocket launch from the UK that I said about failed.
Was it bad starter motor, flat battery?
I don't actually know. I wasn't that invested in it.
Took it to quick fit. Fault dodgy exhaust.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors
off. Fucking space program run by Michael Caine. Yeah, I think.
I can think of worse companies to run a space program. Monty Python. It'd be pretty hilarious.
Well, to be fair, there was the alien scene out of Life of Brian. You know, not beyond the wit of man. It's fucking hell, it's going to take 2 tables. Everything's bigger in Texas. That is very fair, Limburger. That is very fair. It's insane. We're going to be getting it. I'm hoping to get some games in of Billion Suns, but obviously sensible games of Billion Suns in later this year that involve ships that I can't move into with a family of 4.
And need a mortgage for.
Yeah. Depending on how things go, I may just be repurposing X-wing ships, but we'll see. We'll see how things go.
Well, I've got to get my list painted, haven't I?
I don't know, mate.
Yeah.
Talking of spaceships and Thousand Suns, this is a good one. I don't know.
Billion Suns, you fucking moron.
Well, Billion Suns, whatever. Scale is important for Billion Suns. No, scale is not important for Billion Suns, apparently. If it is important, you may have made a massive faux pas, Crispin.
Either that, or he's using it as an extension for something.
He's compensating for something, do you think?
Is he a BMW driver, perchance? We love you, Crispin, we do. Get down, you bastard, and stay down.
So,
yeah, we
talking
both saw this article, didn't we? I saw it
Well,
and was
I
going
didn't-
to share it with you.
yes, I
and then
haven't.
you shared it with me.
I haven't put the article up. So David and I both got hooked by the same article in our Google News feeds. I think it was, wasn't it, mate?
Yeah, it was.
On dicebreaker.com, I believe. They did this article about this game called Snapships Tactics.
Don't say that after one too many.
Yeah, bloody tongue twister. And they were giving it a bit of a hard sell. They made it sound really fantastic. And I thought, oh, do you know what? That does sound interesting. So it's like, think Star Wars X-Wing with elements of Lego.
Yes, I am a OPR Patreon still, Crispin. Why? Oh shit, I know why, because OPR have their game called Warfleet. Ignore me.
Yes.
I fucking just realised.
Yeah, I was going to say, somebody mentioned that the other day, that they're doing a knockoff Battlefleet Gothic, aren't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, this...
That should be on the list of stuff to give a go this year as
now,
well, mate.
To be fair, we're literally just throwing this up here, because have you done any digging on it, mate? Or have you just put it on the list of things to do?
I read the entire Dicebreaker article, so from what I can see, this is a game where you can build ships in 3D, or build them like they snap together like Lego pieces.
Yes, and they've got a few pictures of that up on the website here.
3D AR in the app. But then there's also a game related to this that is card driven, I believe.
I'll leave this here.
This
is the images that have... So those are your ship parts.
And you build your ships out how you want them, like adding more shields, adding more lasers, that kind of thing. And you have a token system that you can push certain weapon systems to, like, overheating in the round before, but then they're not as effective in the next round.
I'll be honest.
And it's very X-Wing-esque because it all works on tokens and movement templates.
Yeah, I think the movement template thing's very similar to X-Wing, from what I've read. Do you know what the main thing that hooked me about the article was that the gist of the article was, look past the gimmick, the game is solid.
Yes.
Because obviously the problem with something like this, you go, yeah, okay, great gimmick, but is the game any good? And, you know, it may have been hyperbolic nonsense, but certainly Dicebreaker, the guy who was sort of going on about it, said, no, the game itself is very good. And it would be something he would be spending a lot of time with. So, yeah, David and I put it on our lists. This is the website. Again, I'll try and put it in the show notes. Snapships Tactics, terrible bloody URL.com. There's YouTube videos. Looking at the top of the screen, it's a Kickstarter that's now on... I don't know if this is still true, whether you can late pledge it. Let's have a look. Backer kit. Oh yeah, $100.
I mean, it is quite expensive. What does that $100 get you, mate?
So that's 8 chassis cards, 24 AI cards, 6 alternate art cards, 55 part cards, 10 pilot cards, 10 custom dice, 2 heavy duty fighter stands, 2 hull and evasion trackers, 2 plastic move tools, terrain ID and missile tokens, 30 energy and heat cubes, 3 range rulers. And 100 individual plastic pieces for building ships, by the looks of it.
Oh my days.
If I read that correctly. With 8 builds, 100 individual plastic pieces. That's in that $99 starter box. Then they've got tons of pledges here with loads of extra stuff. Fleet pledge all in $369.
Jeez.
Oh God! So that has extra stuff. You get the starter box, an elite ships pack, scout ships pack, reinforcement pack, 6 extra stands, 8 special plastic consoles, as well as all the forged transmission daily unlocks from the Kickstarter. So a crap ton of stuff.
A metric shit ton.
A little bit outside of my price range at the moment. They're saying here that it should be shipping July 2023. So I don't know. Have any of you guys seen this, or has it come across your radar?
Radar? What's that in
Radar.
English?
Well, it's like a radar, but badly pronounced.
It's a Lincolnshire radar, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like. I mean, basically, Crispin, it looks like it's a full-on space combat game, like dogfighting style, pew pew. It looks like it's relatively tight scale. Do you know what I mean? The ships are relatively
All
small.
the same.
So it's. I think it's more dogfight than large scale strategic. You know. I don't think it's very zoomed out, if that makes sense. Stop rattling that box, for fuck's sake. What is wrong with you? Oh my God. What the hell is wrong with this man?
I just muted it, so shut your fucking face.
No, you didn't. Are you serious?
Is it muted now?
No. We can hear it rattling and smacking and banging.
You can hear me talking?
I can hear you talking, yes.
How?
I don't know. But we always have this. Where you think you're muted and you're not muted.
I know what's probably happened. Discord's probably picking up from my webcam rather than my thing, and then we wonder why my audio is so shitty.
Mate, you are an audio jinx. That's all I am going to say. You are an audio jinx. The chat's going mad. Quite a lot there. There's also the Homeworld coming out this year from Modiphius. Oh,
yes, I do keep seeing
Homeworld
Homeworld advertised on Instagram, but I never dared click on it.
100 ships. Napoleonics. I didn't realise you were into that sort of historical, Crispin. Do you know what? Do you know what, mate? I am thinking, how would you feel like getting into a historical game this year?
I was going to have a word with you, actually, because I saw while I was in WH Smith's at the weekend.
Yes.
What's the tabletop gaming magazine?
War Games Illustrated.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, you're on about the Greek ship game.
Yes.
It was covered extensively on OTT, and it does look fucking amazing. My only pushback would be, we've just got into Armada, which is a naval combat game.
Yes, I know.
So do we really want to do 2 naval combat games in a year?
I would like to counter you with... we could buy a shit ton of Napoleonics for silver bayonet.
Yeah, we should probably do that.
Own.
And you know what? I've just realised about us doing a historical game. Do you know what we should do? Get fucking bolt action on the table and just get a grip.
Grow up.
Oh, I see. That's exactly what Crispin's doing. Silver bayonet. Yeah, sorry, Crispin. I should have twigged that. Okay, but he did purchase a rule set of Chosen Men. Now, I've not come across that game. Is that a Napoleonics period job? Oh, mate, I would be starting up with Burrows and Badgers. I've got 10 painted models, and I've got about another half a dozen yet to get paint on. Do you know what? The only thing I don't have for Burrows and Badgers is any really twee, cute fantasy rural type terrain that would really set
yes, you
it
do. You've got 2 pieces here that I will finish off for you.
off. Okay, apart from the 2 pieces of terrain that David's already got for me, I don't have any actual cool terrain for it. So, but yeah, and the other thing is, like I said, I twigged the other day that do you do burrows and badgers then, Crispin, or have you dabbled? Or are you just throwing that out there because you heard what I said earlier? Because I tell you what, the idea of a burrows and badgers narrative campaign,
Oh,
that really, really tickles the old pickle, that does.
will you stop being so gay?
We've got 15 minutes. Right, come on.
News. Tell you the other person we should be giving a shout out this week.
Go on then. See if I've guessed correctly, because I've just put it up on screen. And you're
MS Paint.
Yes, I did.
And he's fucking Mordheim and Mythos fucking table. All credit to Dave. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody watches Dave's content. He did a Christmas January Q&A thing. And he said that this table had been long delayed. It was delayed months. I think he started it in November. And he had basically the whole project turned into a living nightmare for him. And he was absolutely sick of it by the end. But I tell you what, nightmare or not, it's a fucking banging table. It's absolutely amazing. Essentially, he's taken a load of the Dunsmouth terrain from TT Combat, isn't it, mate?
Yes. No, not TT. Wayland.
Wayland. I always get the fuckers mixed up.
It's pre-coloured.
Yeah, so the pre-coloured Dunmouth terrain from Wayland. And then basically he's done a completely hand-sculpted board out of foam and bloody...
all of that insulation foam he was hoarding.
Yeah, just... And it's fully lit, as you can see from the picture. It's got... I don't know if he put it in the description, but when the video he said one of the things he was waiting for months for was the bloody lights, because he wanted very specific lights. But then he never said where he got them from. But did he put it in the description? Have you checked?
I'm not entirely sure, but I know they're the street lamps. They're the LED street lamps.
Yeah,
that he's got.
But they look friggin' amazing.
Like I said to you earlier, this is giving me all of the goosebumps. Like I want to do a table like this, but my worry is that it would get a little samey.
I mean, I much as I love the project, I would never do anything like this because I'm fully committed to the bloody gaming mats thing. Do you know what I mean? These sort of rigid fixed boards. Yeah, to be fair, there isn't much that you can't buy from them, mate. Oh, that's fair, yeah. Burrows and Badgers doesn't appeal to him. The weight, the problem storing it. Oh my god, no. So much as I can appreciate it for what it is, a fantastic.
The dead whale on the beach is a fucking brilliant touch.
Yeah, it's like he got. I mean, to be fair, the man's got some chops as well. I mean, he just literally bought a cheap plastic fucking whale toy off Amazon, and he's made it look great as like a dead whale carcass just like washed up on that beach. He really does produce outstanding results. And as you can probably tell from the way that video is lit and shot, that's the other thing that Dave's videos are absolutely next level for, is like the quality of the camera work and the post production and stuff is just fucking amazing on them. They're really well put together, aren't they, mate? His videos.
See, this boards, it screams Mythos to me, which is one for my radar for 23.
Yeah, we wanted to get into that. I mean,
I
to be
tell
fair,
you-
I've got so many models. Well, I just need to
I
paint
don't
them.
even need to commit to buying any.
No, you don't bother, mate. Literally, I've got enough stuff that we can play and try it all out before you decide what you're going to get.
Well, if I'm going to get anything, I will probably get I know which one it'll be. It'll be the Lost World Exodus British box.
Yeah. You said that before. The crossing over. That's a good idea, actually.
Crossing of Streams, which links with tonight.
It does a bit, actually. That's a very good point. So the only other 2 bits of news I wanted to sort of bring up and mention was, first of all, this D&D OGL thing. So we mentioned it last week. It was sort of part of the main topic. The fucking TSR, Wizards of the Coast, TSR, listen to me, can't tell I'm 50 years old. Wizards of the Coast being fucking arseholes with the OGL. I'll be honest, Crispin, I do not know if he sells his boards. I think he just keeps them for personal use. Yeah, I'm a massive fan of Matt's. This OGL thing from Dungeons and Dragons, I don't want to go on about that so much, but I'll tell you something. Wizards of the Coast have put out two basically apologies. Firstly, a bit of a snide, disingenuous one, and now they've got some bloke from D&D Beyond, like the head man from there, has put up a post on the D&D Beyond site, sort of like almost again a second apology, and we promise we're going to do things differently, blah blah blah, because the fans are absolutely up in arms about this. But what I was thinking about today, as I was watching this video's up here just as a placeholder, but as I watched the like 15th or 20th video get recommended to me by a massive D&D channel that's absolutely leading a crusade for people to say to Wizards of the Coast, fuck you and your stupid ideas, I did think to myself, do you know what? As a community, they're really the voices of dissent are really coming together, and they're generating a shit ton of momentum behind this. And I just couldn't help but think about Games Workshop and how they treat us like fucking dicks, you know, as a customer base. And you
get away with it.
You don't see this sort of like motivated, coordinated call to action amongst our community and content producers. And I don't know why that is. What is it about these people? I mean, I tell you what, our hobby could, you know, wargaming could do a lot it would pay people, I think it would do people a lot of good to have a quick look at this and the way that the sort of like the community is sort of like pushing back and saying fucking no, thank you very much. And you know what, even to be fair, although a lot of cautionary voices, I mean, the main reason they're not letting the foot off the gas is all the cautionary voices, all the big channels are saying don't trust them, the apology's bollocks, they realise they've fucking pissed everybody off, they're going to go quietly and sit in a corner and come back and try again later. Apparently D&D Beyond, actually the servers crashed because people were trying to cancel their subscription so fast. But again, as I say, Limburger, I wanted to mention it just because it just seemed to contrast so sharply with like the GW thing. They do the most egregious arsehole business practices that are exploitative.
We lap it up.
You know, they're exploitative. They're fucking, you know, they're just designed to manipulate people into throwing their money away. And you certainly don't see big YouTube channels going on month-long crusades. And I don't understand why. These people are mustering it. Fucking get on it, people. Start roasting GW online. Fuck them. Anyway, On a more positive note, that's the salty rant over. The last thing I wanted to mention to everybody is, yeah, okay, yawn. I'm a massive fan of Arkham Horror, the living card game. I've talked about it before, and here is the news. I will be talking about it again because the game is fucking amazing. In fact, we'll be talking about it later, but that's another thing.
You know what we haven't talked about tonight as well, before we come up to main topic?
What?
Saturday. We said we'd tell the boys and girls at home what we did on Saturday.
We did. We missed club night, people, and you didn't even pick us up on that. So let me tell everybody about this. So basically, Arkham Horror Living Card Game is fortunate enough to have a website that is a repository for entirely fan-created scenarios. And Playing Board Games, which is one of the YouTube channels I follow, did a video basically recommending sort of 5 fan-created Arkham Horror Living Card Game campaigns that they would recommend you have a look at. This is the website that basically they're on about, Arkham Central. And if I scroll down here, you can see all of these campaigns, and some of them are one-off scenarios that have been created by fans. They have a voting system where you can sort of give feedback on them. They're often updated with, so like if people spot there's rules glitches or problems with them, they get updated. And it's such a great, all completely free. And I just thought it's such a niche thing with Arkham. A lot of people I don't think know. A lot of people I don't think know it exists. And I just thought, I saw the video and I thought that is a really good thing to make content about. But you've got loads of stuff in here. There's like one of the big ones is they do a crossover one with Alice in Wonderland there, the Alice in Wonderland campaign. There's all sorts of weird crossover themed ones. I think down here there's an X-Files one, Darkness Falls. There's a Batman one here, Nightfall.
If there was a Hellboy one.
There might well be, mate. There is so many. I haven't looked through them all. And if there's not yet, there probably will be soon. They do. There's a space one. This one that's top of the list, which is supposed to be one of the best ones ever made, is actually a space one. So it's set in the future in space. But yeah, I just wanted to shout that out. Because
you know what, we should give it a go at some point.
You know, because it's great to see. Again, it's in the sort of like OGL thing, I guess. Fantasy Flight are letting people just produce this fan content, and it's great. I don't think this website has any problems. I don't think I don't know if it's actually infringing any copyrights or whatever, but obviously it's all completely original content. But as I say, if you're into Arkham Horror Living Card Game, check this out. Because it's all free. You just need literally a printer to print shit off, and you're good to go. Slip them, print yourself the cards and stick them in some sleeves, and you're away. So yes, mate, you were saying about
Club.
Yes. So at Club on Monday night, I'll go first. I played another game of Firefight, which is my 4th, I believe. So I played it's my 2nd game playing with my Forge Father army, which I have a project on Tabletop system. So that was the army. That was the army I took to the table, and it was a really great match. Up until I can't remember. It was a 5-turn cap. We played. I can't remember what the mission's called, but basically I had to run off the board. It was one of the narrative style ones from the narrative section of the rulebook, and I had to run off the board while the enforcers were trying to chase me down. And I got so many victory points for getting units off the table, and Ricky got so many victory points for killing my units to a man, wiping them out completely. And up until like literally the last turn, I thought I'd got it. But the basket, he played a really smart game and managed to force a draw. And I was so gutted. It was like, hang on, you just got a draw. How the fuck did you do that? So yeah, it was 6 victory points each, I believe. He wiped out 3 units completely. And I got 5 or 6 off the board. In at least some form. So like at least a handful of models. So it was a really good, really tight match. And as I say, that's my 4th game of Firefight now, and my 2nd game with my Forge Fathers. So maybe the next one I'll win. We're going to schedule one for March, I believe it is. And hopefully that'll be my first one I can win. I might even be able to find some time to paint some extra models up for my army. And what did you do Monday night, mate?
I played some Warcry. So I was playing Jack at some Warcry, giving it another shot after the bad taste in my mouth it left after the first game that I played. I bought some Iron Jaws, he bought Untamed Beasts, so we crossed the streams. First game I won. Second game we played, we kind of thought I was going to win from the off. Turns out, yes, we were right. The writing was on the wall right from the beginning. And unfortunately, that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth because it's Warcry and a game shouldn't be determined at the start by some random bloody card flips. But hey-ho! I'm still excited to play the game. I'm still excited to have a look at the game.
You didn't. You had a better experience than your first experience. Is fair to say, though, isn't it?
Yes, definitely a better experience than my first experience. My first experience was a fucking car crash. So anything would have been better than that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
It's got me interested to look at some more, play some more, possibly even buy some. But it links to tonight's topic of crossing the streams really quite well, because the Iron Jaws hit like a freight train. Okay, they're slow, but fuck me, they put damage out, and my god, do they resist damage well as well with their high toughness and the amount of damage points that they can take each.
Did you find the lack of movement really held you back, though?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
In certain scenarios, yes, but no, not in the 2 scenarios that we played. Because again, having won the roll-off for the second scenario and knowing that, for example, Jack's army was faster, and basically the objective was attack and aims a table court. Defender needs to have models in said named quarter that's secretly named and revealed at the end of the battle. If the defender's got any models in that quarter that are alive, the game is won by the defender. If it's completely empty, the attacker wins. So
very much all or nothing then.
Yeah, me being slow went, nah, I'm alright, I'll defend, mate. And then just stood there waiting for his guys to come and attack me. Because, I mean, fuck me, the Mega Boss took out 2 8-wound models with his 2 actions. And not even just slightly, like 12 and 16 damage.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So yeah, it is a bit of swings and roundabouts with Warcry. It's some good and it's some bad at the same time.
I didn't realise actually, but you're dead right. That does feed into the main topic in one aspect. So should we tell them briefly about Saturday as well? So Saturday you came round to mine and got together. We had a gaming night.
We did have a gaming evening, didn't we, sir?
Okay, Darren. See you later, mate. Thanks for coming and by. So yeah,
I never crossed the streams. Well, somebody needs to tell people about that, Darren.
So You brought your Arkham Horror 3rd edition board game, didn't you, sir?
Yes, I did. And my God, did we have some fun. So the plan that me and Paul are doing over the next few months is playing some inevitable mode for the Arkham Horror card game, Arkham Horror board game 3rd edition. That was introduced with the Underdark Waves expansion.
Because you've got a full set of expansions.
I now have a full set, yes. Basically, as you play the game, shit gets harder. And when you lose, you lose. Deal with it. So we had a really fun game.
It's a bit like a pushy luck thing, isn't it? You play as many of the... Because unlike the card game, the scenarios are not linked in any way. So they're designed to be played separately as one-offs. But this inevitable mode does allow you to sort of say, well, just pick some characters, keep playing until you fail a scenario, and then see how long your win streak is. It gives you a sort of a pseudo campaign mode, if you like, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So yeah, we're into that. And we played. Now it was
Dreams of Ryla.
However you pronounce where Cthulhu's from, Ryla, Relay. It's R-YLEH. I think it's typical Cthulhu, unpronounceable random letters. So yeah, and do you know what? It's the first board game scenario I've actually won. I played Ashcan Pete, and you played your Calvin Wright.
Calvin Wright.
Because you love a bit of Calvin.
I love Calvin, but you can also now see why I love Calvin.
Yeah, he's very powerful. And Ashcan was pretty tasty as well. Played very differently to the card game. Obviously same character, but different mechanics, etc. And to be fair, his ability was no slouch. Really good way to generate clues and churn through clue cards.
Encounters.
Yeah. So yeah, it was. I don't know as it was easy, but we definitely had a plan. We worked well together, and we completed the mission without too much trouble. We weren't carrying a lot of damage. We had a few hairy moments, but we dealt with them, didn't we?
Summoned Cthulhu, because fuck it, let's summon an elder god to sort this shit out.
Yeah, we did. How we quite decided that was the most efficient solution, just to summon Cthulhu ourselves, just to kick his ass. I'm not sure about that.
Teach him a lesson or two.
Seems a bit fucking chancy.
Excessive.
But yeah, it was really good.
It was a really good game, mate.
And like I say, first time I've played that board game and not been completely fucking crushed. So it was nice,
the approach from Azathoth scenario that we did at UKGE absolutely hammered our asses. You've played the other Cthulhu one. I can't remember what the scenario is actually called.
That was the one at Club, was it? Yeah.
And fuck me again.
We got rinsed, didn't we? Although we have sort of identified them. Maybe it's one of them games that the difficulty may spike as the player count increases.
Yeah.
And it sort of may have a little bit because it seems a little easier at lower player counts, doesn't it?
Again, it seems easier, like I said to you before, it seems easier on solo mode than it does on co-op, particularly when you got 3 or 4 yet.
Although, to be fair, we did say that might be because of the team working. If you're playing with somebody who's really an experienced board gamer or knows who is really focused. The
Cthulhu games will fuck you.
Yeah, because the 4 players games we've had at Club, it's like you say, it only takes one other person to be not pulling their weight, and it all can go a bit fucking, get a bit rinsy quick, can't it?
Yep.
So that's what we did on Saturday, and as we've kept saying, these various things feed into our topic. So let's get on to the main topic. And up front, I just want to say to everybody who's watching tonight and may catch us later on YouTube, this is one of those ones where we might be onto something. We might be talking fucking nonsense. As we've said already tonight, nobody else seems to think that this is a thing. But various.
Well, I've even called for it on stream before. I've called for it.
What do you mean?
Of cross compatibility.
Yes. Yeah.
We've advocated for it. We've gone away, had a bit of a thought about it, and in some situations it works.
So let's
but in the vast majority, it's a train wreck.
Let's set out
the lowdown.
Let's set out the stall. So, because people are probably going to say the thumbnail's probably pretty clear, but let's just, in case people don't know what we're getting at, what we're getting at, and what we're getting at is when game companies try to make sure that you can reuse assets from a particular game over and over again in various different games that they make. Okay, so the example that I've put on the thumbnail and the example that we have talked about before and David has mentioned tonight, Games Workshop obviously do Warhammer Underworlds, Warhammer Warcry, or Warhammer Age of Sigmar : Warcry, or whatever the hell its fucking name is.
Just Warcry, let's leave it at that.
And Age of Sigmar. Okay? So, and they produce model kits that are specific for those games. But then what they do, so after they've released a Warcry warband, or after they've released a Warhammer Underworlds crew, or whatever the hell the technical term for them is, warband, they then release a datasheet so that you can play that in Age of Sigmar, or you can play your apparently
Underworlds warband in
Underworlds in Warcry. And we end up with a situation where they try really hard to make sure that if you can buy some models, you can use them in a load of different games.
Take Kill Team and 40k.
Yes.
As another prime example. Take your 40k army, give it a fucking diet, pick some models, build an army. Oh, look, you've got yourself a kill team, particularly with the older 2016 version of the kill team.
Well, they did it with the current
one. It's still legible with the newer one.
Yeah, I was going to say
you get less cool shit.
It's exactly the same.
Buying the kill team boxes.
It's exactly the same as they've done with Warcry, but they have had the opposite effect. So, like in Warcry, generally the Age of Sigmar stuff is recognised to be a bit broken versus the stuff that comes out of the dedicated Warcry boxes, and in 40k it's the opposite. The stuff that comes out of the dedicated kill team boxes is a OP compared to the stuff that's out of the index or whatever the special word. Compendium, that's the word. Because everything in there is a little bit vanilla. There aren't really enough special rules to make everything sing like there are in the bespoke ones. So they're trying to do exactly the same thing. The intent is, if you have these models, there are multiple games and multiple things that you can do with these models, which is fine. I understand the sentiment, and actually at first blush, when you say it, you think, that's quite a good idea. And for full disclosure, I have tried to do this in projects myself when I have been doing things in the past. So let me give you a specific example. When I bought Dungeon Saga has a range of essentially generic undead skeleton models and generic fantasy figures. You've got like a dwarf warrior and an elf with a bow and a wizard guy with a staff. And to make, instead of using the square 50mm square dungeon sculpted bases that come in it, because Lindbergh has put, GW can't be asked to make create rules that work as the law suggests. You're entirely right, Limburger, that the problem with this is that you end up pushing your design team to create fucking filler rules to cover shit that you never designed for. Do you know what I mean? And I
Other
think
than the fact that they're a pretty set of models, and let's encourage people to go out and buy them.
yeah, but ultimately it does come down to what you said, which is half of the time this shit does not work. Okay. And anyway, let me finish my Dungeon Saga. So I thought, well, instead of putting them on those big 50mm bases, I could put all of my skeletons and stuff on 20mm squares. Then if I ever want to put them in my old fantasy armies as like unit champion models or that sort of thing, I can do that. I thought that'll be a good idea. And you know what? I just had to get some 20mm squares, cut them off the old bases because they come pre-assembled in the Dungeon Saga box. So I had to cut them off, glue them to the new bases, and it was Bob's your uncle. But the thing is, I did a lot of work, and then now the bases are smaller than the grid, so they don't fit on the grid that you play Dungeon Saga on because everything's too small. So that is a bit annoying.
Inconvenience.
It's a bit annoying, but it's not a massive problem because you can still tell.
Well, again, it's better to be smaller than too large.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't stop them being functional. It's just a little bit irritating and makes the place look untidy. But the question is, ask me, Paul, have you ever done anything with those models other than play the game that they were intended for with? And the answer is, of course, no. Of course I haven't. Because I own thousands of fucking models. So why would I ever do anything other than the go was intended for with those models? And I think this is where David and I have pretty much come to over this whole issue. I have a ton of a ton of Warhammer Underworlds miniatures. I have tried once to play the Stormcast Eternal, the Storm Host Brotherhood, or whatever the guys from the Night Vault set. I played them in AOS once, and they were broken as fuck. They were the best thing out of my whole army. 280 points, I think it was, for like 3 models. They were insanely good. And it just left me with a bad taste in my mouth. I will never do it again. I will pay. I bought Underworlds models. Do you know what? I'll play fucking Underworlds with them. I have AOS armies. I'll play AOS with those models. And Arkham comes into it because Fantasy Flight, they call them the Arkham Files games. Right, so Fantasy Flight produce loads of Arkham Files games. They produce the living card game. They produce the board game Arkham Horror. They produce Eldritch Horror board. They produce a new game called Unfathomable. They produce loads of games in this universe.
Living card game?
I've mentioned the LCG, yeah. So they're doing exactly what Games Workshop is doing. They're taking the one IP and they are milking it for game ideas
everything it's worth.
Product opportunities. Absolutely no problem with that. If you have a rich IP with a ton of lore and information, release 10 games on it. No issue with that whatsoever. But what you don't see from Fantasy Flight is you don't see them sort of saying, oh yes, and you can use this card pack from the Arkham Horror card game in the living card game. Oh yes, Mansions of Madness is the other one. Oh yes, we've done this Mansions of Madness expansion, but you can actually use the tiles in the Arkham Horror 3rd edition. No, they don't. They don't do that at all. Because what happens is, their design team is given a brief to design a game.
In one space.
And they fucking design that game. And that's it. Then if they want another product designing, they just start from scratch and design a product. They don't constantly keep going back over their fucking product lines, trying to farm and repurpose it. Like some fucking weird sort of OCD nonsense.
TT do similar on a miniatures front. Now, obviously, we've got Strike Team rumoured, and we don't know when it's coming yet, but that's 32 mil. We've got 10 mil Drop Zone Commander, different set of terrain, different set of miniatures, but again, it links with the universe and the lore and the setting. And then we have the space battle game with Drop Fleet. They're encouraging you to play all of their games because they're linked in the lore if you like them, similar to how the Arkham Files are. But they don't expect you to take a 10 mil squad and suddenly move it over to 28 mil. It's a different set of commitments of buy different terrain, buy different miniatures, etc., paint them up, build them, that kind of thing. They don't find a way to shoehorn a miniature from one stream into a different stream. Do you see my point?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
we have mentioned them tonight. Wayland. Wayland are about the only company that I can think that are doing it quite well at the moment, with Mythos and Wild West Exodus.
But having said that they are doing it well, ask yourself, would any of their gaming properties suffer if they didn't do it?
No,
would there be insufficient variety in Wild West Exodus, Mythos? If they never did a crossover, would those properties suffer? And would anybody? And again,
yeah, that's what I'm saying, Limburger. Like again, there's the narrative style of gaming that links the space battles with the ground battles, and then when Strike Fleet's released, there'll probably be a similar set to link Drop Zone to Drop Strike Team. Like, all with that, all for that. Similarly with Wild West Exodus, the fact that I can have a Wild West Exodus warband and play them in the middle of the Arizona fucking desert for Wild West Exodus, then I could pick them up. Okay, the basing will be way off, but throw them on a Dunsmouth terrain set, play them in Mythos, fucking sings to me. Because they're both two rule systems that I really like. The thing is, other than them being set in this dystopian age setting that Wayland have got going on, there's nothing that links them. Do you know what I mean? It's completely different, like monsters setting scenarios, completely different rule set.
Even the aesthetic of the models is completely off, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, they're not even similar art and design styles.
Limburg has just made a good point here. The problem is GW also tried to get factions into a game that they don't belong in. So, for example, Harlequins belonging in a big army-based game, fighting traditional wars, and yet they get forced into it and shoehorned into it. Yeah,
because they would be you're exactly right, Limburger. They would be probably a good faction for something like Kill Team. But you're right. In 40k, their 6 model choices just get spammed to bollocks because there's hardly any variety there. It doesn't work. I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, David. I think this business is completely unnecessary, and the only reason Wayland are doing it is because GW has already done it. They've seen they're copying somebody that did something they've seen done. I don't think that this is something that people are asking for in our hobby space. Do you know what I mean?
No, because you get a game, you get an aesthetic you like, you fucking run with it. Do you know what I mean? You don't beg for things to match up. Just trying to think if there's any other examples that come to mind where you play one with another. Because obviously, you have your open.
Go on.
You have your open rule sets like Frostgrave and everything else, but that's a completely different kettle of fish because they're completely set agnostic.
Yeah.
For what you're actually playing, it's like you could fucking play them with chip tokens. Do you know what I mean? If you wanted to go to that level, so long as you've got something that represents a wizard, and there's no special rules.
Yeah.
And we touched on this on Saturday when we had a little bit of a chat around this topic before stream.
Yeah.
Because everything is so generic, you just play it. Do you know what I mean?
I have played Frostgrave with Burrows and Badgers miniatures.
Yeah.
And it did. I would definitely use Burrows and Badgers miniatures in a future time to build a Frostgrave warband. But the problem is my Burrows and Badgers miniatures as they stand are all forest based, and it's really immersion breaking and irritating for me. Perhaps it's my gamer OCD to actually be playing them in Frostgrave. They very much work. You can easily pick themed models and slot them into the roles of the Frostgrave warband. And I am not for a minute not saying that is a thing people should do.
But even Joseph doesn't cross the streams.
No.
And say, oh, well, your Frostgrave wizard, he can go and play with a Ghost Archipelago Heritor, and just for shits and giggles, let's throw the Stargrave captain in while we're at it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was the point I was coming to on this, of there's a time and a place for agnosticism, like having agnostic minis, but again, they don't try and force you down this avenue. Again, it's I think we've mentioned it before on stream with Joseph McCullough. He doesn't force you to even go out and buy out any of his expansions. I mean, they're dirt cheap, and why wouldn't you if you love Frostgrave?
Yeah.
But it's not like anything's locked behind a paywall.
No.
In that regard of, oh, well, there's this really broken unit for Frostgrave in one of the expansions. You've got to go out and buy the expansion or buy the specific miniature to get it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, Lindbergh has just said about Mantic having, obviously, Firefight and Dead Zone are paid with the same miniature stock. They're just different warbands that are put together in different ways. And it's not always a bad thing. It can be done sensibly.
Well,
do you know what I mean? It's like a company saying, well, here's a bunch of generic fantasy dwarves, and you can do what you like with them. You can play Warhammer Fantasy Battles, you can play Kings of War, you could print them off and use them in D&D if you just want the odd model here and there. But where it starts to become a problem is where it becomes deliberate by gaming companies to shoehorn models with unique rules into something they were never designed for. I mean, and my advice from the hobby side of it is, I have fallen into the trap loads of times to think, oh, if I do this in a particular way, I'll be able to get more use out of these minis. I'll get more flexibility out of these minis. Blah, blah, blah. Do you know what? Just don't worry about it, because your hobby is supposed to be time intensive. It's supposed to be rewarding on many levels. Keep focused on the project. What are you painting these miniatures for? What are you designing this project for? And then when you get into this other game and you want something for that, just get something for it. Just treat yourself. Try to keep your projects self-contained. It'll make them much more easy to complete, because you won't be sort of like constantly crossing things over. Glimberg's put here, I was planning to use the Gobbo Underworld banner as a character, so not as written official team, but simply as a bit of character.
Yeah. And again, I don't see any problem in that. It's when you have the war scrolls with the ridiculous fucking stats on them that we're finding issues.
I mean, I think what Lindbergh is saying, he wasn't intending to do that.
No, but I'm saying that's the point.
To be fair,
why don't GW just say, like, if you want to use them in iOS, as we've already said, just sprinkle them in, see them where they see fit, because this is this model and this is this model. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than go out of their way and go, right, iOS rules team, just release these cool minis. We'd actually really like it if you can link them into iOS and you can make them broken so people will go out and buy the limited run of Underworld stuff.
To be fair, I imagine it goes more like lines of we've got this model line coming out. We want rules for them. Go. And it's just a fucking
rules writers go brr.
Yeah, and it's just like, tell you what, don't. Because you've got better things to do with focusing on playtesting and balancing your own fucking game without
adding more shit.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's sort
because
of like,
again, I hate to say it, but when iOS goes to 4th edition, for example, not only have they got all of the fucking units to balance that they've got in the core range anyway, per faction for all of the factions, you've got these little fucking children in the background going, what about me, Daddy? What about me? Because I'm an Underworld's warband and people own me and people have played with me before. Do you know what I mean? It's just bollocks.
I don't know. I mean, here's another thing, right?
Detracts from the actual game, setting, everything else. Don't get me wrong. There is a part of me, whilst we're sat here having this conversation, going, yeah, but with the price of GW models, can you really blame them?
Maybe that's a factor.
Try and soften the blow across 3 sets.
Yeah, but I just think it's fucking. I just think it doesn't work ultimately.
No,
I just think it's a lovely idea on paper.
It's a nice theoretical thing in your head, but I have played with my Underworld's orcs in my Iron Jaws AOS army, but I didn't play with them as Iron Jaws from the fucking faction expansion and everything else. I just played with them as these are just some cool brute miniatures to sprinkle in my already existing units. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly what Limburger was saying with the goblins to put in like his Lude army or whatever it is, Night Gobos. Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, we talked about board games, right? Now, I don't know if anybody is here is into like Gloomhaven.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying about this one.
I'm just reading what Limburger's put there, but the people are demanding those units to be added into the army. Yeah. To be honest with you, Limburger, that's an interesting thing, because that's what I was going to say. Where is this coming from? Because Gloomhaven, obviously, is a massive board game, biggest board game on Board Game Geek for forever and a day. I don't even know if it's still #1 or whether it's finally been ousted. Frosthaven, the follow-up game from Isaac Childress, is coming out any time. A lot of my friends have started to have delivery. Mine's due any day. And this is the first board game that I can think of where this phenomenon has happened. Isaac Childress has made an effort so that people can take characters that they have developed in Gloomhaven and play them in the new Frosthaven board game. So it's the only board game where I can think of that this has happened. If you guys can think of another one, chuck it down in the comments or the chat if you're here with us now. But and it's what Limburger is saying, that people want this. And is that, what do you guys think in the chat? Is that where it's coming from? Is it us hobbyists want this? And you might be right, because David and I we've caught ourselves doing this, haven't we? Oh, that would be a good idea. What if?
Yeah, if you've gone out and spent a lot of money and you've invested your time, I kind of get it. And this is the other thing we were saying, like the other night. Arkham Horror in a board game, you don't necessarily feel so bad if, okay, they're linked games, but it's another set of cardboard tokens to punch out, because it's one of the most appealing parts of when you get a new board game is cracking that cellophane and punching out them cardboards. Because it's not as much of an investment compared to painting up 20, 30 minis for a kill team if you're running a fucking guard kill team or a guard army. Do you know what I mean? It's a tough one, because I can see arguments on both sides of the fence here. I don't know about you, Ginge.
I know, this is why I caveated it right at the beginning with, this is one of the most... It's one of the...
Quite divisive.
Yeah, I'm quite divided in my own mind about it. That obviously, based on my personal experience, another good example is Kill Team, right? So I have played Kill Team with my models from my 40k Necron army. But I often think I've got plenty of spare Necron models laying around that I've never put into the army. I should just build a Kill Team and paint up some different models and make a set for Kill Team.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this to you I've got an absolute metric shit ton of Phobos Marines lying around. Too many that my Salamanders don't really know what to do with them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to paint up a Phobos kitted out kill team, because there's already rules out for the Phobos kill team. So I'll just sub and do some conversion work. It's a bit more work for me than buying the kill team box and building it, but hey ho, who cares? I quite enjoy hobbying.
Yeah, and it gets rid of some minis that you've got, and it creates a nice little bespoke project. You see, this is the way I'm going now. I very much... yeah, the inverse of Harlequins, yeah. Okay, Limburger, don't know much about Zombicide, never played it. So what's the deal with Zombicide? Can you use any of the miniatures and assets from any of the Zombicide games in any of the other Zombicide games, like Black Plague or Green Tide or whichever they are? I know the titles, and that's about all I know about them. So you'll have to educate us there. You see, maybe it's more endemic in board gaming than I was aware.
Yes, but don't forget we do just dip our toe in board gaming.
Yeah.
We are by no means the board gaming experts.
That's really interesting. Again, I just the older I get, the more involved I get in the hobby. I just think that companies should stop doing it, because you're just spreading your design resources very thin. Keep your projects focused on what you want to deliver. Do you know what I mean? It's like, say, for example, this Zombicide thing is the case. Do they really want to have to balance every fucking Zombicide game with every other Zombicide game and every other card? And I don't even know how Zombicide works, whether it's stack cards or whatever it is. Do they so we're on game 8, we're on Zombicide game 8, Marvel Zombicide. Do we want to... It has restrictions, so Black Plague Survivors will expand. Okay, fine. So again, they've sort of said, you can do this if you want, but you need to stick with these restrictions. Okay, that's fine. And again, they've obviously done that probably for balance reasons. Because again, if you want to make everything backwards compatible all the time, you just restrict your design space. Because you're constantly
you're only as good as your last product, aren't you?
You know, you release something new, and it's like, oh, is that going to fit with what we've released already, though? Do you know what I mean? And if you're talking about a board game and its child expansions, yes, fair enough. But when you get to the stage where it's like, oh, every product we release in this IP, we're going to try and fucking mix and match and chop and fucking change, and it's like, stop. And again, from a hobbyist point of view, it sounds great, but actually...
It's a trap.
It is a trap. Do you know what I mean? Build your bolt action army, And then if you want to play Chain of Command, just buy yourself some new models. Treat yourself. Do a different country. Do a different set. Just
And even like bolt
do you know what I mean?
action. What's the fucking Conflict 47?
Yeah.
You can just smatter in some bolt action minis because you've got them in your army because you can't spend all the points for the weird sci-fi shit. But then go out and buy the weird sci-fi shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the extra few minis you want for your army, if you're going with the same army across both systems, it's like, why? Do you know what I mean? Why? You don't need to just add one or two weird unit men. Just go and buy the full weird unit and get on with your life. Spend that money, build those games.
Yeah. As I say, there are a number of times I've sort of tried to be clever and efficient with my hobby time.
Because again,
and it never works.
We just speak of bolt action. Cruel Seas, Blood Red Skies. You're not using the same miniatures, even if you're playing in a linked campaign setting, etc.
Yeah,
and you're not even using the Blood Red Skies miniatures as representations in bolt action because it's so.
Yeah, but they're different scales, mate. I mean,
yeah, but I'm saying taken out of context, like the airstrikes, etc. Do you know what I mean? They could use the smaller scale Blood Red Skies stuff in bolt action.
Yeah, but it's just fucking stupid, isn't it? It's. To be fair, that's the last thing you want in a historical. A lot of people do historical war games exactly because they can achieve a level of immersion that they can't achieve in something that's fantastical and make believe. And the last thing they need is a tiny little fucking 6mm fighter jet sitting on a little plastic stand in the middle of the table. They'll be like, "No, mate, my version's completely broken at this point. I'm out." So I think particularly for war games, that's something. Historicals, that's something that you probably wouldn't see.
Right, I've base coated all my skin tones, boy.
Yeah, I've got the red on everything. I'm just doing this.
Limburger hits the nail on the head here.
What's he got?
GW isn't selling games or making games.
No. Yes, no.
It's selling minis.
Yeah. And again, that is exactly the problem, isn't it, mate? They're like, well, we want everybody to buy this pack of miniatures. It's what David said earlier. We want every single customer on our customer base to want to be invested in this group of miniatures. How can we do it? Well, just write fucking weird and wacky rules so that whichever of our game systems they've got invested in, they'll be able to use these miniatures. And David also got it dead right when he said it's about cost. You know, the sunk cost in GW products is so high, giving people the sort of a potential to multiple use them. It's a way of offsetting the ridiculous cost and saying, yeah, it does cost like 3 times what it would for any other game, but you can use it in 3 games. Yeah, whatever.
So actually, you only paid £10 for each of the games that you want it in, which makes us on a par with every other fucker.
Yeah. So you see, we're not more expensive than everybody. Fuck off. As I say, this is very much a weird one. I just think, weigh in the comments if you're watching us later on YouTube.
Well, again, it's.
What's your perspective?
I don't want it to come into beating on GW, but it's like power creeping games.
Oh God, you're gonna drag all the skeletons kicking and screaming into the daylight now, aren't you? He's gone mad. He's digging up the graveyard of the JCB.
Look at fucking Underworlds. Look at Underworlds. Look at the first sets versus the power creep to now. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of those were still factions in OG fucking AOS. First edition AOS, second edition AOS, adding stuff. Adding all the rules, etc. for them. Okay, cool. That's fine. Whatever. When they ran out of doing them as Underworld's warbands, for the first sets, you could buy them for supplemental minis for your fucking, what's it called?
Yeah, because they had
your AOS armies.
That's because they had thousands of sprues cast, but they had none of the support material, so they just shoved the sprues out the
Yeah,
door,
but
didn't they?
again, they're not even doing that now. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
It
that's
is
probably
very
because they've probably tightened up on their production and don't overproduce the sprues. Because that was the only reason they did it, was because they'd obviously overproduced on the sprues and didn't have the paper products to sell. And that was probably because of COVID problems.
No, it wasn't, because it was before COVID.
Well,
Before COVID.
whatever. But the reason they probably don't do it anymore is they've sorted out their production system so that they only order the right number of fucking units so they can package everything complete and flog it as what it should be. That's probably why it stopped. Because again, this is the other thing. None of the motivations for any of this come down to making games better or making a good gaming experience. It's all about money. It's about, it's like Limburger says there, we're probably going to see Primaris Marines in the old world simply because they want every fucker to buy Primaris Marines, whichever game you're playing. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
Well, again, it's like the cookie cuttering of factions between 40k and fucking AOS and putting a different twist on them. Because Imperial Knights, broken. How are we going to break AOS? Well, we'll add giants. Fuck it.
Yeah, again, that's a slightly different conversation. We should probably talk about that one. Because again, if they had... The thing with Games Workshop is, if they had... Again, the problem with them is that they've got these. They don't like the idea of having multiple game systems that cannibalize on the same customer base. They want, okay, well, we've got a mass combat futuristic game. We don't want a 6mm game and a 28mm game because half of the players will invest in one and half of the players will invest in the other. We want everybody to only have one choice. So that's why Epic...
everyone's getting 28mm.
Everybody's getting 28mm. And then, because there is only 28mm, when everybody goes, yeah, but we want knights, it's like, we want titans. It's like, okay, well, Forge World, just make us a 28mm titan. Just make us a load of fucking knights, which we can put in 40k and break it. Make us a load of flyers that we can put in 40k and break it. At least, actually, to be fair... you see, again, that's weird with GW. I don't understand why sometimes they sort of like back away from the precipice and sometimes they just throw themselves headlong over it. So, like, we talked about it the other night.
I think it was who is involved in the design department, to be brutally honest.
Flyers have been a problem. 28, it's 40mm by now. Yeah, that's true. The constant inflation. The fucking GW's models. But flyers, right? Flyers have been a problem in 40k ever since they were reintroduced in like 6th edition, he says, not with any great certainty. Flyers have been, I mean, again, super heavies, it's the same thing, Limburger. So like, flyers are a problem in 40k, but they've never had a game. What they should have is a 6mm strategic large zoom. Aeronautica's 10mm in it or something.
Still.
But what I'm saying is they Aeronautica, flyers have been busted in 40k for years, so they brought out Aeronautica. They said, oh god, this doesn't work, keeps breaking the game. Let's just create a flyer game. And by all accounts, it's a great game. It's like 40k doesn't need knights, doesn't need titans, it doesn't need super heavies like shadow swords and bane blades and fucking phantom titan thingies, the fucking Eldar knights,
walkers, storm surges.
Yeah, it doesn't need it.
It just should be a squad-based fucking combat game.
And then, if you want a large-scale combat game where you've got entire platoons of fucking super heavy tanks blowing the bollocks out of each other from 2 miles away, make that game. Give your fucking designers a break, give your game a chance, focus on what you get. Because again, actually, do you know what? This does feed into this conversation because it all comes down to the same thing. Have an idea in your head of what your game should be. and design it and
For
market
that, and
it
exclusively for
and
that.
sell it. And then when somebody comes with a fucking unhinged, off-the-wall idea, either say, no, that doesn't fit in this game, shelve that idea, although thanks for trying, or create an entire new game and system to support that fucking brilliant idea. Do not get a massive crowbar and shoehorn the fucking thing into whatever you've already got because, oh, well, why not?
They were asking for it.
Oh my god!
They got what they wanted. That's why I was mentioning it. Because it does link, like, just the constant crowbar. Like, they must run out of crowbars at GW.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying, sort of like people asked for knights and super heavies, so they gave them. I mean, you're right. I mean, to be fair, I built the first Baneblade when it was in White Dwarf. Yeah. Yeah, like Limburger says, and be willing to say, no, you cannot have that, because it will break our game. And it is not what we are offering you with this game. Again, I don't know. I mean, as I say, I built the Baneblade, the first. I still got it upstairs somewhere in one of my old boxes. The one out of plastic card and wooden dowel and shit that was in White Dwarf back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. And they came out with rules for it. I think it would be second edition, end of second edition, beginning of third edition, 40k. And it was like the first super heavy model that you had to scratch build yourself. But it's
I'm about to come onto a topic here. Fucking Necromunda.
Go on then.
You've
got 10 minutes.
Based skirmish game at 28mm set in the Underhive. Where are we wandering off next to? Oh, well, we're going out to the Ash Waste because people want bikes and skimmers and... Really? Do we?
Yeah.
Can we not just play with our things nicely?
Well, do you know what? That is a really good example, because even at the time, everybody said, well...
Do you want to know the funniest thing that I saw tonight on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
For Horus Heresy, they've just released the plastic jet bikes.
Right.
And obviously, jet bikes for Space Marines are quite limited because they were lost because of the dark ages of technology.
Right.
And they were difficult to manufacture. Somebody made a smart-ass comment on a Facebook group of, well, hang on a minute, why didn't they just go talk to the Escher? Because they've got fucking jet bikes coming out of their ears. The answer was always on Necromunda.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Bit of salt there. Bit of salt shaking over the G-dubs. That's fucking genius.
But it's fucking true. Like, you've taken a gang-based game and you're now adding vehicles to it. Okay.
And do you know what? In a way, do you know what? In a way, you can sort of give shit like that a pass. It's like that. There's a White Dwarf article, and it shows you how to scratch build a fucking Warhound Titan for 40k. You know, out of bloody yogurt pots and toilet rolls. And if you can be asked, there's some stats for it. But you know, fill your boots. And do you know what? It's a bit like Crispin said earlier. That is very true, Crispin. You hit the nail on the head. Your table, your rules, your gaming life, your rules. So if you want to do it, just do it. You don't need anybody's approval. You don't need anybody's permission. Just go for your life.
With it.
And do you know what? If there is a niche for that sort of thing, then that is that niche. But again, It's what I kept saying earlier. It's about design time. It's about design resources. Don't put this in front of your staff. Get them to focus on things that matter. Like really, those fucking
like balancing the game.
Those 4 or 5 design hours that went into every single one of those utterly fucking here. Limburger's put, here's a twist. Necromunda is set during the Horus Heresy. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, how have the mighty fallen? I mean, essentially, White Dwarf was back in the day. White Dwarf was just fucking endless scratch building, foam board and lollipop stick
Hobby
houses for
tutorials.
fantasy, and scratch build a fucking razorback out of plastic card and fucking wooden doweling. And now it's like it's just a fucking advert. It's just it's just a catalogue, isn't it?
It's a GW porn reel.
It's just fucking bullshit. The whole company's lost its fucking mind.
Yes, Dan, but again, there's a difference between getting it because you like the look of it as a hobbyist versus the design space that the design team. What are we going to have next? Fucking camels in Warcry?
Oh, dear.
Being genuinely serious, like. Yes, I may be being a bit salty because it's GW related and I'm salty when it comes to GW, but only because they keep pulling shit like this of breaking the game by introducing new shit or breaking the game by dragging it across.
I'll tell you the next thing. Tanks in Kill Team.
Oh, what? Rhinos for the Goliaths to roll around in?
Yeah, we'll have Land Raiders in Hooking Kill Team.
Well, I mean, have you seen the size of that Ridge Hauler that's in Ash Waste? It's fucking big enough to be a Land Raider.
I don't know. Again, lack of focus. They haven't really got an idea what they want the game to be. All that they knew was, again, I suppose it comes from the idea of maybe it comes from the fact that we've got all these creative minds that these people, their job description is design me models. And when we filled all of the holes in our
we can't put limits on them.
Yeah,
we can't tell them that this won't work. They've designed something cool, so we've got to find a way to fit it in now.
Well, even starting further up in the process, it's like, well, we've modelled everything that we've got rules for in 40k. We've modelled everything we've got rules, or we've got rules for everything we've modelled in fucking AOS or whatever. Yeah, but Bob's got a 40-hour week this week. What are we going to get him to do?
Necromunda needs some vehicles.
Vehicles for Necromunda, please.
Come on, Bob.
Okay, Bob. Off you go. Let's see. John's got nothing to do this week. Bring squats back. We want squats back. Just tend to redesign squats.
Cheese me's like vehicles and Kill Team.
Yeah. To be honest with you, mate, I can't see it not happening. It'll probably start with stuff like bikes and buggies. But I can't see it not happening. And simply because they have absolutely no sense of the responsibility of being custodians of their resource, of custodians of their games. It's.
And then they wonder why they make the community salty.
No, they're not. Dan, you're dead right, mate. I mean, by their own admission, they are a collectibles company that just happens to have their collectibles related to a gaming product. And that's the drum they've been banging since the dark times, isn't it?
Yeah, they have been banging that drum quite hard.
Yeah, it started with ash wastes in Necromunda. Do you think we'll go the other way? We'll get infantry in fucking Adeptus Titanicus. We'll go full circle.
Don't knock it till you've tried it.
What do you mean, Dan? They're a gateway. Do you mean Games Workshop are a gateway into the hobby in general? Because if you do mean that, please check our earlier video where we said that these big corporate companies are not lifting all ships equally and are not gatekeep. They're not a gateway.
They can't even lift their own games.
Yeah, they're not gateways. They're gatekeepers. There's a difference.
It's like the fucking ferryman at Styx collecting his toll to take you to fucking hell, isn't it? You gotta have your gold penny.
Look at Dad. I like it. I had a shandy before I had a whiskey. That's fucking funny. Nice one, Dad. I mean, Limburger, I did mention that earlier when I was... I mean, I'm assuming that you feel the same as me, that actually... Sorry, I've just dropped my brush. I should be back in a second. I'm assuming you feel the same as me, that the way that this OGL thing has been basically ridden and killed in the streets by the D&D community is a fucking...
Hats off to him.
What, when you say it's a drug, Crispin, do you mean like GW in general? I'll be honest, you know, the only argument I can see for people, I don't know, it's difficult because I'm very much a game player. I suppose this is one of the reasons I don't find it hard to knock GW, because I'm very game focused. We've been through this before. I sort of understand that if you're an individual whose first passion is the model, then the fact that they do the brilliantly, superbly sculpted, mega crisp, fantastically varied range of models in hard plastic that they do, priced ridiculously highly in my opinion as they are, I can sort of understand it. And I can sort of understand it if you're entirely driven by the IP. You would buy a dog turd if they put Space Marine shoulder pads on it, because you're just into the IP and that's all that you really care about. Again, I get it, I guess, but I don't know. I didn't find Games Workshop a particularly difficult drug to kick. It was like, as soon as people started showing me, I can't really remember what my first non-GW gaming experience would have been.
I'm just trying to think what mine was, actually, now you say that.
What would be the first non-GW game I bought and played? Obviously, Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing don't count. It's got to be a miniatures-based game that had nothing to do with GW. What was the first one?
League of Infamy for me. Not League of Infamy. Dungeon Saga. With Frostgrave.
Fucking hell. Do you know what? I honestly can't remember.
I think Dungeon Saga and Frostgrave were mine because they were at a very similar time. Is the honest answer, mate. And I think the main reason I got into Dungeon Saga was because I looked at getting into Silver Tower, saw the price point, and said, no, fuck this shit.
Mine would probably be Malifaux 2nd edition. Maybe Malifaux or War Machine.
War Machine's another good shout, actually.
Because those have been around for a few years now.
Because Frostgrave was after. X-Wing.
X-Wing, yeah, that would be one that I adopted early. but I think Malifaux and them predate.
No, I'm just speaking aloud and trying
Yeah,
to.
no, I think it would be one of those two. I can't. I
This
don't
chair's
think I
pissing me
got
off.
any. I don't think I was into any Mantic games or bought any Mantic miniatures. Dead Zone. I didn't go buy Dead Zone first edition. That guy had it at the club. And I got
I
into
don't even
second.
know which guy you're on about.
The tall guy who went to uni, young chap, can't remember his name, but it'll come back to me. But Crispin's put up in there all because of Ben, his new alias. I don't think they're the best, presumably back GW Miles. I'll be fair to you. I mean, I'll be honest, Crispin. The margin, the argument that GW are objectively the best miniatures in the gaming sector, or to be fair, in any miniatures sector, the argument that this is definitely the case is really. I mean, other companies are championing behind them. Some of these boutique resin companies produce fantastic minis. Weird Miniatures produce some fantastic miniatures. Even Night Models, when they can sort their fucking quality control out, the miniatures are great. It's just the consistency that's shit and the availability.
Or actually get stuff in your box.
Do you know what I mean? It's like I think you're definitely onto the days where you could unequivocally say Games Workshop were the best miniatures company, head and shoulders, streets ahead. Those days are sort of like they're in the rear view mirror and disappearing over the horizon.
Or the old person's home.
Yeah, no.
It's thing is, right, it's fucking this.
No, I'll be honest, Limburger, resin's my least favourite form. I'd rather work in metal, for fuck's sake, but then again, I am an old man, so I don't have a...
Well, again,
I'm
you
not
only have to look at the amount of
phobic at
mould
metal.
lines on those Strigoi.
Yeah, that's fucking pain in the ass.
What's the time? Fucking hell, we've overrun!
We have
overrun!
When you say you're just going to throw Moonstone out there, what do you mean? In what context? Fantastic resin miniatures that are newbie friendly? Is that what you're trying to say, Crispin? That they are the bomb? Yeah. The argument could be made, Limburger, but like I've said, every year it gets more and more difficult to make that argument. Look, it's 10 o'clock, guys. Thank you very much for being here with us. We hope you got some stuff done. I managed to get the red down on most of my vampires, so they're not going to show up because it's too dark. But I got 3 of them done. I've literally just got to base coat the hair. Then we'll be on wash steps. And then we'll be able to crack on, and hopefully I can get 3 miniatures out quite quickly. Which will be awesome.
Have done all of the base tones on my 9 Necromunda minis for the skin.
Do you want to go to your table, mate, or is there not much to show?
Give me 30 seconds, and yes, we will. I just need to move the camera back into shot, turn it on because I've knocked it off. Go back to Video Ninja, share my camera, turn off the audio source. Start. Right, should be ready, sir.
As soon as it comes up on my screen, I will share it with the people.
Let's turn the brightness on this fucker down so it's not so overexposed. And then people might be able to see a bit better. There we go. So that's just normal Vallejo basic flesh.
Hang on. I'm getting nothing for your ninja.
Hang on. Does help if I hit the start button.
That will help, yes. I will give you that. Yes, he's away. Here we go.
It's a basic flesh tone down on him.
Did you have to go back and Agrax the orange? Was the
No,
orange?
I haven't gone back and Agraxed it yet. I've been busy on skin tones.
No, that's fine. But I know he said that the orange probably wasn't enough to sell it.
Chocolate brown.
Oh, very nice.
We have my brown rose cork bark mix. It's more of a pinky red.
Yep. Nice colour, actually.
And then we have my pasty motherfucker who's just drying at the moment, who is Iraqi sand.
To be fair, you've got some real variety there. Once you get the washes and the highlights down on them, you can always tone them into skin. They'll look really cool together as a group. I like it. I like the variety, mate. That's really good.
Because basically I've done 2 chocolate
Night crispin.
Night crispin. 2 chocolate skinned with a spare one for if I change my list up. I've done 3 guys with the normal basic skin tone. I've done the 1 albino guy, and then I've done 2 with the cork bark and brown rose.
Cool.
So, like you say, I've got
a bit. Are they all custom? You see, they're custom recipes, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You see, you should
just slapping paints on.
Yeah, this is, mate. You've been doing this long enough now. Just slap shit on. We can work it out in post. Is that what they say?
I don't know. Is that true of the stream?
I won't do any post on the stream. Right.
Anyway, boys and girls, it's been lovely hanging out with you this evening.
There you go. That's what I did tonight. Excuse jitter cam, but I can't work out how to put this bastard thing into fixed focus mode. So you'll just have to put up with all the jittering and hopping and blurring. But yes, thank you very much for everybody who was in the chat, and for everybody who's catching us later on YouTube, thank you very much for you guys as well. If you can only do one thing, please like the stream. Obviously, if you can do any of the other YouTubey stuff, then we are eternally grateful. Such as comment, like, subscribe.
Share, subscribe.
If you subscribe to the channel, it's a good way to get notified of when we put the live streams up on a Thursday. But as I say,
when Paul uploads his 3rd playthrough of Assassin's Creed.
Yes. But as I say, if you can do nothing else, liking is definitely enough, and we're grateful for it. And as I say, bearing in mind what tonight's main topic was, get in the comments below. Is it a thing? Should game companies and should hobbyists try to bring a little bit more focus to what they do, or actually is the real enjoyment in this weird scattergun, drag it all into one big mixing pot idea? Are we wrong?
Answers on a postcard.
Thank you very much to everybody who was with us tonight, and we'll see you next week.